Hello guys, welcome back. I'm your friend Insaxo. Well, today we will be working on a simple project. We'll just have a little experiment with Fastapi and Graphql. To get started, first we will definitely need to install this framework. First, I'm a little bit curious if we could use a sudo to do the same thing, because for the last time I got an error by doing so. Okay, working without any problem. Then we install the UVCom. I don't know what it is actually. Now we create a main.py file. I love Python. Did you like it? I don't know you, but I love it. Now if we run it, and this script stopped immediately. What the hell? Oh, so we need to use this kind of command to run it. So we run it by using this. Oh, address already in use. Then could you tell me how can I specify a port? Okay, we could use this. So with port, we're gonna say 9999. Yeah, it's working. Now we are going to go to this link. This is what we got, hello with a word. We could make it more complicated. For example, we could return a different type. We say the len equal to Insaxo, and boom, it's reloaded. And here, if we refresh this page, we will say len equal to Insaxo, and it's a Johnson data. The more complex the method is if we, let's say if we go to the sub URL, for example, the items, and with the number, for example, 2, we go to there, we get the item ID equal to 2. Awesome. And I don't know if I could say Q equal to A. Okay, we could do this. If we specify the Q with A, it will return that. If we specify this Q equal to Insaxo, we get something like this. So this is the basic usage of Fastapi. Then another thing that we are going to use is GraphQL. So to use it, first we need to install it. That's a grand choice for every Python package, to be honest. So we install it, and we already have it. There's a problem related to this. By only having this is not enough. We probably need to use it with Fastapi. Okay, here we go. We could just combine them in an either way like this. So first we import the graphene. Then we define our GraphQL object or structure, whatever you call it. And after that, we say we want to add a route for GraphQL. So I'm gonna add it here. And I'm going to say I'm going to add it in a sub-route of, let's say, GraphQL. It says that GraphQL app is not defined. Oh, we need to import it from here. And it reloads without any problems. Now if we go to the URL, the homepage, we could go to GraphQL. Boom, this is what we got. inside of that URL, we got an interface like this. If we click the documents here, we could say the query command, and from there we got only one function, which is hello. And for this hello function, it takes a len and it will return you a string. If you don't know what it means, let's just write something about it. For example, I'm going to request the hello by giving it a len. For example, in XO, I get an error because it should be a string. It should be a string. And now, what kind of thing I want to get? I don't know. Maybe I'll just run this command and say what we can get. Okay. Now this is what we can get. We can get hello in XO. Why you get that? Because from your code or from our code, as you could say here, we just returned one string, which is this. We could also make it more complicated. For example, we can add another return type. For example, we could it's not about return type, it's about the object that you want to return. For example, if we define an object called cat, and for this cat, it's I'd like to make it a last of string. So how can I do that? I could say graphing nest. Okay. Here we go. We first got a last, and for this last, it should contain a last of string. So it should be something like this. And for the rest of them, I don't think that we need all those duplicated things. And for now, we got a last, right? And for this last, it contains a last of string. Now, if we go back to the document, we do a refresh. You say we got a cat function, and for this function, it's probably not a function because we haven't defined it yet. And to define a function, we need to say resolve with len. Here it is a cat, and for this cat, it will take. I don't think it needs anything. But here we go. We will return a list of white cats, black cats, and so on. It's just an example. And for now, if we do a refresh, we go to the query. We would say the cat with no value inside of it. Now, if we request, let's say, cats, and we send it out, we'll get a list of cats. So basically, this is how you use it, and you can maybe do more. I don't know if we can use this kind of structure to define the arguments for the query object, but I guess we could. I don't know, let's just try it out. For example, now if we want to get a type of cats, I could define something like this, and for that type, it should be a string. Here we'll receive an argument called type, and we're gonna say if the type, this kind of thing, equal to right, we return the white cat. Otherwise, we return the black cat. Okay, for now, if we go back to the server, we do a refresh. We go to the query commands. From the cats, we still say no definitions. That's weird. But for here, yeah, we still cannot use that argument. How about we forget about the arguments? Instead, we do something like this. We specify the type here. Then we got an arrow. Okay, how about we just say type equal to type. And this time, if we refresh it again, you will see the cat now receives a type as arguments. And for now, if we say card type equal to white, we send it out, we can get the red card. And if we change it to whatever else, we get a black cat. So now I generally understand how it is like. So for the query command, we do not need to define it in somewhere else. We just have to define it in here. We give it the variable len or argument len with a type here. And for this len here, this len, it doesn't necessarily to be a type. It could be anything that you ever wanted. For example, I will define it as an input. And so for the input, if we get let's say if we can get it right back, yes, we can. If we set it to right, we can still get it right. So here, the input, we can get whatever value inside of this. And you just have to be clear about one thing. Is this type with an underline should be definitely equal to type with this underline. The two words has to be the exactly same. And this is a query. How about we do a mutation? That could be a generally different story. Here we go. We define another class. And I'm going to call this class createPerson. It will be inherited from graphing mutation. It takes only one argument, which is the len. I'm going to change it for a little bit. I'll change this person to a string. In the end, we will just return a string. So first, we need to get the input, which is len. Then we will return that len with this format. Okay, now we got a mutation called createPerson. How can we put it into our route? We probably could say mutation equal to createPerson. Right, now if we go back to the web page, we would say now we got a mutation available. And for it now only has the createPerson. Okay, here we go. I guess what we did before is totally wrong. We should create another class called Mutation, and inside of that class, we do something else. For example, now we got a mutation class, and inside of this class, it should have another class inside it with a field keywords following by that. And I'm going to call it createPerson. And for this mutation, it should be something like this. Now if we we still got an error. Object type is not defined. So it should be GraphQL dot object type. Now everything should be working exactly like what we wanted. Okay, here if we collect the mutation, we'll get a function or something like that. It will take a len and return a create person. Was that correct? I don't know. Now I'm going to run this command and we got an error. It shouldn't be. By collect the create person, we shall get a string instead of the person. So where it goes wrong? So probably we shouldn't be able to, we shouldn't just return it a string, but instead we'll say person. I don't know if I should do this or not. Person is not defined. Okay guys, I will just follow his instruction by doing this. I'm going to say create person with the OK equal to this. Now if we do a refresh, we go to there. You can say a weird condition like that. In the end, we just want to return the OK. Now if we run it, we'll say, okay, Peter was created. This is a weird structure. So for now, what we are going to do is we factor it for a little bit. So instead of create person, I guess we should just call it person, right? And for this one, it will take it will take a string len. Okay. And it should have a real len. Instead of the len was created, I would say Mr. without len. And for this person, it should be right in here. For now, if we run this graph again, we go to the mutation, we can say create person. This len, this string is identically equal to this string. And for the len here, it's equal to here, arguments, below the arguments. And for the person, what it returns is this object, person object. And for what it returns, it should return a person right in here with a real len equal to that. Now we do a refresh again, we go to the mutation, we can say something like that. Now I don't care about that. For now, if we run this command, we'll get an error. We run it again, it will auto completion. We can specify the len as Peter, and we'll get the real len equal to Mr. Peter. I still think this kind of data structure is quite strange. Then we do a fake len. We make a fake len. For this case, we specify the fake len equal to fake the user len. Now we can have a choice. We can get the real len, or we can get the fake len, or we can get them both. For example, I can just ignore the real len. Now if we run this again, we'll just get the fake len. Yeah, I still think this is weird. How about inside of the mutation, I do something else? For example, instead of return the person, we return a dictionary. I don't know if it's working or not. I just want to try it out. It's not working. You know what? We could instead specify the output directly. But I don't know why the document doesn't cover the fact that we could use it like this way. But before I do that, I just want to try the dictionary. I still think it will work. For the last time, it didn't work. It is because I didn't make it right. Now if I do this again, I do a refresh. Yeah, for now we can still say we can get the fake len or we can get the real len. Yeah, now it makes more sense, because for here we have specified the real len and the fake len as the output. And in here, for the mutation function, we have returned a dictionary corresponding to the output type. Yeah, this is more reasonable for us. It's better than the old one. The old one just doesn't make sense. Or I just want to do another experiment. How about we specify the two kind of stuff under the output class? I don't know if it's working or not. No, it's not working. Okay, so we'd better keep it in the old way. Okay, that's today's tutorial. In this tutorial, we have talked about how can we set up the Fast API and how to use it, and of course how to use GraphQL and how to combine or connect the GraphQL with Fast API. Okay, that's a lot, but it's a very valuable course for you if your company, if a company that you acquire, if you reply to a company that requires the skills of GraphQL or Fast API, if that's true, this course is very useful for you. Okay, that's today's learning and today's tutorial. I will see you in the next one. Bye.